Hello, BookTube.
Hello. So we are here to do a week 3 wrap up. We're a day late, but still, at least it's coming out. A week 3 wrap up that was classics science fiction week.
Yep.
And week 4 kickoff for New Worlds November. And New Worlds November has been a smashing success. We've had an amazing time with it. There's a celebration of short science fiction, a celebration of any science fiction, but mostly short science fiction. Science fiction in short form, because that's where it came from. You know, that's it. Its history was short works. There continue to be thousands and thousands of short stories that are published for science fiction through all the different magazines, all the different websites, all the different books. And it's my favorite way to read science fiction. I do love a longer science fiction work, but I really love short science fiction. It's my favorite because you can tell a really great science fiction story in 20 to 30 pages. I mean, really great stories.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're going to Becky's going to give you what she read in week 3, and then I'll go with mine. And then we'll talk about our TBRs for week 4.
You'll have to forgive my voice. My head feels like it's stuffed with cotton. I have a head cold.
Yeah, she's had a head cold now for a couple of weeks, and just, well, about a week.
Losing my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week I only read 3 things.
But one of them was a novel.
Well, one of them was a novel, and it's been a long week.
Been a busy week.
Yeah, been really, really busy. So the first thing I read this week was Minority Report by Philip K. Dick, and I
read that as well.
Yeah, I greatly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I had a great time with it.
It was really good. It's probably my favorite thing I've read by Philip K. Dick so far.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised. I had seen the movie several times before I read this, and I was actually really pleasantly surprised by
how closely the movie stuck in a lot of ways.
Yeah, how closely it stuck to the spirit of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it didn't really follow the storyline so much as it stuck to the whole idea of the story, and I liked that.
Yeah, you know, the kidnapping of the
precog.
The precog and all that didn't happen in the book, but
right.
It was still a really good movie.
Right, and they handled the precogs with a lot more compassion in the movie actually than they did in the in the book.
Yeah.
Let's see. Second thing I read was Scanners Live in Vain by Cordwainer Smith. He read that as well.
We really enjoyed that too.
Yeah, it was loads of fun. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know about fun. I'm not sure fun is what I'd call it because it was pretty heavy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It kept my attention. I enjoyed it immensely.
We really enjoyed it a lot. We had a great time with that. Very well done. Extremely.
And the last one that I read, this one actually took me a little while, and it's because I'd come home and I'd crash because I'm dying inside. The last one I read was Way Station by Clifford D. Simak. And I loved that book.
Yep.
Loved it.
And I really thought you would.
Much. Well, I am a victim of false advertising. However, Scott tells me, you should read Way Station. It's actually surprisingly funny. It's got some really, really funny, great parts. I'm like, okay, I like funny.
When I think of Clifford D. Simak and his humor, I think of it as hidden, as not exactly in your face most of the time. I mean, he has some silly things in some of his books but I love that too. But it is there, but it's still dramatic.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't in your face. It was hidden in like a pillowcase in the basement or something.
Yeah, it's not. it's not Don Quixote in your face comedy, you know. Even though a little some of that is a little dry as well, but Clifford D. Simak, um, it's his situations that I find funny,
There was like one situation in the book that was funny. The rest of it is very quiet and introspective,
and it's
and
great.
very, very good, very interesting. I'm thinking about doing a
And it's been 25 years since I've read it, so it's about time
yeah.
again.
I'm thinking about just doing a video, just a review of the book on its
I
own.
think you should.
Because I really want to talk about it in depth. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Maybe after we get done or something.
Any spoiler review?
Yeah, so it'll definitely be a spoiler review. Although it's not really a whole lot you can spoil.
Yeah.
It didn't have a big climax that it was rushing towards, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It did take a couple of the subgenre boxes for me though, which I'm all manners of excited about. But yeah, those are the three things I read this week, and I'm actually quite happy with it. I got a book off of my my lifelong TBR for of Minority Report, and I added a new author that I'm really excited about trying again, and I will be this coming week.
Yep. So again, I read with Becky Scanners Live in Vain and Minority Report, but I read two other things as well. I read a full-length novel, which was, and I read this with Sean D. Standfast, and we did a video of it this last weekend. We did a live, if anybody wants to go back and watch that. And I read The Long Tomorrow by Lee Brackett, and loved this book. I thought this was a great story. I'm not going to talk too much about it because we did in the live, but it is about something that's like 70 to 90 years, 60 to 80 years, something like that, after bombs have been dropped, and what happens to civilization. It's about two boys who become what they call Mennonite, or what they called Mennonites at that time. You know, after that, and cities are outlawed. Cities are illegal. You cannot have more than 1,000 people, I think, or in 20. I don't know, 200 buildings, 20 buildings. I can't remember exactly.
Huh.
In one place, because then, if you don't have cities, you don't have targets for bombs. Gotcha. So, loved it. I mean, I'm going to read this more. And I'm tired. That's the reason I'm having trouble explaining what it is. But yeah, I'm going to read this a second time, probably next year, maybe even next year for New Worlds November. We'll have to see what our prompts are and stuff next year. But
it's another idea novel.
Well, it's a great idea novel. That's not just an idea novel though. Characterization in this is amazing.
Well, no, it's not what I mean. I mean it's written around a big idea.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's great. Very comes, or I recommend it highly. Another story that I read, and I have it on my tablet. I don't want to have to keep flipping around on my tablet, pulling up different covers and stuff. Was The Big Front Yard by Clifford Simak. Becky read Waystation. I read The Big Front Yard. It was great. It was really, really good. It got in the middle a little bit, what seemed frantic, and I got it, but I think the only gripe I have against the story is I think the story could have been a little bit shorter, and some of that, either that or make it longer and get rid of some of that frantic pace, because I didn't love the pacing of it, but all in all, I love the story, and I thought it had one of the best endings to any science fiction short story that I've read. Clifford Simak, I am extremely impressed with everything that I've read from him, and this is one of my favorites. This would probably come third favorite of anything I've ever read by him, but I loved it. Yeah, The Big Front Yard. It came in a best of Clifford Simak, or the complete short works of Clifford Simak, number 4 or 5, something like that. Maybe even 8. I don't know. There are a whole bunch of them though, and that story is highly recommended. So that's what I read for week 3, which was classic week. Week 4 is robots and AI week, and Becky and I have got some great stuff picked for that as well.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead first.
So for week 4, I'm going to revisit Clifford D. Simic. I can't speak tonight. I'm going to read City.
Here's the cover. City. It's
That says
interesting.
it all, doesn't it? Look at that.
City is on Kindle Unlimited. So anybody out there that has Kindle Unlimited or that wants to read Clifford Simic, there are a few of his books on Kindle Unlimited, so you can get them on there and not have to pay for them.
I believe the full audiobook is on YouTube as well.
Oh, is it?
I believe so, yeah.
Cool.
I'm having to breathe through my mouth. I also am going to read Hunter's Quest by Linnea Lee. Now, Linnea Lee is one of my very, very favorite sci-fi romance authors. And she'll be on my my top 10 list when I do my top 10 alien romance video sometime in the next few days. I've got 2 romances lined up for this week, and they're kind of a shot in the dark. I know that the Linnea Lee books, they're very highly technological advanced, and they've usually got robots running around and AI on their ships. So I'm hoping that's the case in this one. It should be. The same with a book called Storm by Hattie Jacks. The aliens in this are highly technologically advanced. So we'll see if anything comes of that. And the 4th one I got is called the Tercentenary Incident.
Tercentenary Incident.
I never say that word.
The Tercentenary Incident by Isaac Asimov.
That's the one. It's in the Complete Robot.
Yep, it's about a 20-page story or so. It was possibly my favorite story out of this whole thing. Top 3 or 4 at least.
You liked it better than Robbie?
I don't remember if Robbie was in here.
Is it not the first one?
No, it's A Boy's Best Friend, which is a great. Oh yeah, Robbie's in here. Yeah, but I read Robbie and iRobot. Yeah, Robbie was in iRobot, but yeah, this is a great book.
Could have read that.
Huh?
I could have read this.
What, Shakespeare's Planet?
Look at that. That's such a cool book.
I don't know if that's AI though.
Oh, all flesh is grass.
Another Clifford Simic book where she's drooling over my Clifford Simic books.
I can't describe how much I loved Waystation, but every time I think of this, all flesh is grass, all I can think of is grass is grass.
But
that's a cold, fogged brain.
But yeah, the Tercentenary Incident. I'm having trouble too. Sorry, we are tired.
Tercentenary.
The Tercentenary Incident is about a man who is investigating whether this incident actually led to the death of the president and he was taken over by a robot, or whether the president is actually the president.
Does it have something to do with the number 300?
No, I don't
Tercentenary?
think so. I don't remember exactly. But it's been a little while since I've read it, but I loved that story. And is that all you've got for the week?
That's all I've got for now, but once I get to reading the romances, it's all holds barred and all bets are off. Every man for himself. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's all I've got on paper. It is subject to change, and it will change because I did not read any romances this week. Not a one. Stupid classic week.
So I've got 4 things to read, as well as, oh yeah, you've got them written down for me. Good, because I don't have one of them on my phone over here.
Can you read my utterly awful handwriting?
Yes, I can read your handwriting. It's not awful.
I'm not sure I can.
But The first thing is a novel. It's a very very short novel. I think 156 pages. The Killer Thing. I saw this by Kate Wilhelm. This thing's out of print. I don't think it's been in print for a long time. But I saw this on Michael K. Vaughn's channel a while back. He was talking about his favorite science fiction books. This was like number 9 or 10. So really excited to read this.
Not to be confused with the southern, the southern version, The Killer Thing.
Yeah, it ain't the killer thing. It's the killer thing. But there we go. And I'm excited about reading this. It says, programmed for destruction. In a way, programmed for destruction.
I know.
In a way, they were the same, the man and the machine. Both had been ordered to do one thing, kill. The robot had been created to wreak vengeance on the humans who had brutally conquered its planet. The man was the product of years of training by an Earth that had set out to take over the universe. Now the two faced each other in the icy reaches of the galaxy. The robot with its calculating machine of a brain, its impenetrable force shield, its deadly laser beam. The man with the kind of nerve that refused to admit the odds against survival. So that sounds great, and I really look forward to it.
It does sound great.
Yep. The next thing I'm going to read is Steel by Richard Matheson. One of his stories I haven't read. The movie Real Steel with Hugh Jackman was created from that.
Really?
Yeah, the story came long before the movie ever did. And I love Richard Matheson's writing. So Steel, I'm going to read. I think it's not all that long, maybe 40 or 50 pages. I don't even think it's that long. I'm also going to read Seasoning by Alan Dean Foster. That is, I'm not exactly sure what the story's even about. I just know it's a robot story. I haven't read any Alan Dean Foster in a while, and I think it's about time. So, yeah.
It's Seasoning. It's about a culinary robot gone berserk.
I doubt it.
He put sugar in the grits.
And last, I'm probably not going to read this last. I'm actually going to. I have the audiobook of the best of Cordwainer Smith, and I'm going to listen to The Dead Lady of Clowntown. Becky and I were going to today, but we got some bad news from my family and weren't able to listen to anything today. So
it's bad news that turned into good news.
Bad news that turned into much better news by the end of the day, but by then it was too late to listen to the story. The Dead Lady of Clowntown by Cordwainer Smith. Like I said, we loved Scanners Live in Vain. We had a great time with that. So
I might listen to that as well.
Okay.
Sometime this week.
Yeah, The Dead Lady of Clowntown, Cordwainer Smith. Really excited about that story because I really loved Scanners Live in Vain. I know Dead Lady of Clowntown is way different, but I mean, a good author is a good author, and can write in more than one style. I had no problem with that whatsoever. So
yeah.
Yep. So that is my TBR so far. I may add one or two things, or I may take a day to not read anything. I don't know. It just depends on what the week's like.
No, you can't take a day to read nothing. You're almost there.
Yeah.
It's the last week.
I know. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not tired of reading.
You have to read.
I'm loving reading.
Every
Having
day.
a great time. I have so far.
You just wait. I notice that there is no alien romance on this list.
Not yet, but I have 2 days. I have the 29th and the 30th.
Okay.
I've been asking her to find me a short story alien romance. She says, I got one that's like 90 pages. I'm like, no, I'm talking about a short story, not a novella.
It's because people like to give their romances substance. You Philistine.
Philistine.
Not going there. We could be here all night. Okay.
All right, it's time to go.
Just gonna call you Frodrick.
All right. We will talk to you soon.